Okay guys, the topic today will be I'm gonna talk about the direction, the length of the roots of spinal nerves. So first I would like to illustrate this part, and I already made a rough sketching here with graphite, and I will add now the ink just to make the image clear for you. Okay, so let me just put the title here. Let me grab a pen. This one. As I mentioned, I'm going to talk about the direction. Direction. And this is the title because of this. I'm making the letters different, and the length. And the length of spinal nerve roots. Nerve. I'm gonna continue here. Nerve roots. Okay. So direction and the length of spinal nerve roots. Now, the roots of the spinal nerve, the first actually, and the second cervical nerves are the shortest, as you can see here, and they run more horizontally. You can see that from the third to the eighth cervical nerves here, third to the eighth, the oblique downward and then move outward. Then we have the thoracic and the upper lumbar nerves. So you can see that the thoracic and the upper lumbar, they become progressively longer and more oblique, and they will extend downwards. The roots of the lumbar and the sacral nerves are the longest, as you can see here. Okay, they are the longest one, and are orientated more vertically, which ends forming the structure known as the cauda-equina. Now let me just use another pen for this one. So here we have the spinal cord. This is supposed to be the coccyx. Okay. And then we have the extension of the spinal cord all the way up. Now, as I mentioned before, the roots of the first and the second cervical nerves are the shortest, and they run more horizontally. And from the third to the eighth, the cervical nerves, the third to eighth cervical nerves, the roots have an oblique downward course, which I'm going to represent here in this way. Some more simple diagram just to visualize the course of the spinal nerve roots. Now, from the thoracic and the upper lumbar nerves, for the thoracic and the upper lumbar nerves, you notice that the roots become progressively longer and more oblique as they stand above, from above downwards, like this one. This one. This one. When I talk about injuries, nerve injuries, you will have a better idea of different levels of injuries, how they affect the structures. Okay. Now, continuing here, we have the roots of the lumbar, the lower lumbar, and the sacral nerves. And as you can see, they are the longest one. Okay. And if you compare the orientation of these nerves with this here, you will notice that these nerves, they are more vertically. So especially when you dissect the cadaver, just have a look, save some time to look at each nerve, the direction. Of course, that because when you go to the practice, when you are in the lab and you are dissecting cadavers, you will probably notice that everything is completely different of what you are seeing here, or of what you see in textbooks. But I think that will be important, especially for you, professionally, academically, to always save some time to look at the position of each nerves, or if you don't have enough time to look at each one of the nerves, just use the time to look at the nerves of different areas, especially you can especially use this model here, this diagram, as an example. So focus on the first two, then go to the third to eighth, and then you look at the thoracic and upper lumbar, and then you go to the lower lumbar and the sacral nerves. Okay, let me just complete this part. And I will add some notes to this illustration here. I have to mention something because of my accent when I say something in English, especially if you are using the translator of YouTube for the captions, you will notice that some things will not make sense, but it's quite normal when you see someone from a different nationality talking in a language that's not their mother tongue. Okay, so okay, so what can I do here? I'm gonna do this first. First and second horizontal. Horizontally. Okay, third to eighth. Oblique. Tower. Then we have the thoracic. I'm gonna use this abbreviation for upper. U. Upper lumbar. They are longer. Yeah, they are longer. And more oblique. More oblique. And then we have this lower lumbar and sacral. I'm gonna use this abbreviation L to lower lumbar and sacral. They are the longest. And more vertically. Okay, so they are the longest and more vertically. Okay, what else? Let me just add something here before move on to the next. Let me use the red one today. Why is so important to learn this? Do you have any clue before I say something? If you have, just pause the video, write in the comments below, and then play the video again. If you don't have any clue, just bear with me. Okay, guys. The direction, the length of spinal nerve roots are important. Okay, and why they are so important? Because we need to understand how these nerves connect to the central nervous system. Connects the central nervous system to the rest of the body. Okay, this is the first thing that you need to have in mind. So the reason why the length changes it's especially because some nerves will have specific functions and they will have specific functions for the anatomical structures that they will innervate. Now, talking about the cervical nerves. Cervical nerves, you probably know very well. They supply the head, the neck, shoulders, and upper limbs. Why especially the first two are short and horizontal? Well, they will, how can I say, they will, well, they are actually short and horizontal because they will serve the nearby structures more efficiently. About the thoracic upper and upper lumbar nerves. So we know that these nerves primarily innervate the trunk and some parts of the limbs, okay? And the fact that they have this, the fact that they are longer and they are more oblique allows them to reach more distant targets as they descend along the vertebral column. And then we have the lower lumbar, the lower lumbar and the sacral nerves. I'm gonna do this. So the lower lumbar, or these nerves in specific, not only the lower lumbar but also the sacral, they are responsible for the lower limbs and the pelvic organs, which in my opinion is the hardest part in anatomy to learn. But I think that everything depends of your personal interest. What you actually likes about anatomy. What you actually likes about the human body. And I personally likes the nervous system, and I've been learning to like the liver. Well, they are their long vertical roots will form later the caudequina, which you probably know very well resembles a horse tail, much more because of the appearance in the lower part of the spinal canal. And basically this arrangement of nerves allows the nerves to extend far enough to reach the lower extremities and the pelvic region. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important to understand the differences, the anatomical difference of the spinal nerve roots. I hope that this information makes things more clear for you, especially when you start to learn more about these deep structures, or when you start your neuroanatomy class. I'm gonna do this because this part is pretty much now you'll have a better view of this structure. Okay, let me just mark here. Yeah, I don't want to make a long video. All my videos will be basically follow this model of presentation. Why? Because I want to make these videos more I want to show some tips actually, how you can use drawing and noting, and how you can use dual coding to improve your understanding of human anatomy. So yeah, this is the video that I want to share with you guys. It's important to remember that understanding the direction, the length of the spinal nerve roots, especially if you are a clinician, it will help you with diagnosing and treating various neurological conditions. We can add to these neurological conditions radiculopathy or spinal cord injuries. And it's also important for surgical procedures involving the spine. Yeah, because we need to ensure that the nerves are not inadvertently damaged during these procedures. Yeah, that's it. This is the video that I want to share with you. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to share with someone that needs to learn more about, oh, I have a topic that is interesting for you. It's a bit slow, but it's interesting. Okay, so see you next time.